there. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I have a layout share for you. In addition to some of the layouts I've shared on my channel with process videos, I have some layouts here that you'll only see here in this video. I'm filming this in early December. How did it get to be December already? I feel like December snuck up on me. We've been so busy lately, and December already goes by in enough of a blur. I really need to just make a point of slowing things down to take it all in and enjoy the month coming up. I wanted to mention I will have more videos coming up this month. I'll be sharing more of my 6x8 holiday album, and I have another process video before Christmas. That's all the announcements. Let me share the stack of layouts. Here's another layout I finished from my Key West trip. No process video for this one. I went on that trip in 2018, so it feels good to finally complete these layouts. I have a few more to go, but better late than never. I have two vertical photos here that I took poolside eating nachos at happy hour. I'm not usually a very themey scrapbooker, but I couldn't resist this watercolor pool background on this layout. It sets off the pool photo nicely and it's not too busy. Several different companies represented here. The rainbow paper is Cocoa Vanilla Studios from the Sunkissed collection. The stripes are Echo Park and the background is Photo Play. And I think these tags are from Doodlebug. Super simple design with this one. A lot of the embellishments are from the Sunkissed collection, along with some older things from my stash. The photos are centered on the page, and I added everything clustered around the photos. I've been on a twine kick lately, and this one features some twine bows on the tags. I also added some word stickers from an old Can Company sticker sheet and filled in with some gems and tiny acrylic flowers. This one is just fun and colorful, perfect for the Key West atmosphere. Here's another quick and simple layout. There's no process video for this one. Here, I wanted to add these fun tags as the main embellishment for the page. Since there isn't a ton of pattern paper on this layout, it was a great way to add in more color and use the same papers. I tied some twine bows to the tags, which adds a bit of texture. I added them to the side of the photos and then added journaling in the open space on the white cardstock. We took these photos on the day we did our tastings for the wedding and picked out our menu for the reception. There's a mix of papers here: Echo Park, Crate Paper, Simple Stories. I just cut the papers into strips, added them down the side as a way to anchor the photos to the page. This would be a great design for scraps because you don't need full sheets of pattern paper. As I often do with layouts with white cardstock backgrounds, I added a thin mat of black cardstock to mat the entire layout. For the title, I used two thicker sets, one in gold and one in black. I added some Studio Calico chipboard hearts and black enamel dots. Just quick and simple. I think that's a theme running through a lot of the layouts I'm sharing today. When I'm short on time but want to be productive, I rely on quick designs like this. I still get to play with pretty paper, but I'm not at my desk for hours and hours. Here's a Halloween layout. I do have a process video creating this one on my channel. I will link that video below. My dad recently gifted me with our family photo albums. So now I have a ton of childhood photos to scrapbook with. I'm using the original photos, but every photo is scanned so I can reprint them if I ever need to. I pulled out all of the Halloween photos and could only find three different sets. This was a great excuse to get out my Halloween supplies and use up some things that have been in my stash for many years. The main embellishments for this page are 2x2 cards from a cut apart sheet and some 3x4 bingo cards I've had in my stash forever. All I did was add some word stickers, brads, and enamel dots to the cards. I have three photos here, and my journaling is included in this fun pocket. This pocket is from Little Yellow Bicycle, going back many years. It's something different. It's already decorated and adds lots of interest to the page. I used some word fetty stickers as journaling prompts on each of these strips and hand wrote my journaling. The word fetty stickers saved me time because each phrase I added triggered a childhood memory, so the journaling was much easier to get down. This layout also has a process video. I will link it below. For this design, all of the photos span across the page and all of the papers run vertically down the page. I'm wearing this fortune teller coral ensemble in these photos. I wasn't sure I was going to find any papers in my stash to work with these, but to my surprise, this Halloween collection from Simple Stories was perfect. The pinks and the corals work great with the photos. Another simple design with the torn floral paper on the side edges, the thick stripes underneath, and the orange spider web in the background. I have one embellishment cluster at the top, one over here with the title and the journaling, and one over here on the other side of the title. This was a stash buster for sure. Lots of random die cuts and stickers I've had for a long time. Some puffy stickers with the same pink color, and I added some black doilies as cluster bases, layered in some 3D stickers, and added coral flatback pearls and black enamel dots as the finishing touch. Here's the third layout I created with my childhood photos. This is the same photo. There were two copies of it, so I used both of them. No process video for this one. Here's an example of using 3x4 cards from the cut apart sheet. I rounded the edges with a corner rounder because the photos had rounded corners. I did trim the photos down just a bit so that these elements were the same size. This pattern came from one of the pattern papers I had from this Simple Stories collection. I just cut a small piece to fit in that column. This strip on the side is an older basic gray paper. And then I tucked another small strip of that paper on the other side to bookend the middle section of the layout. These strips give enough definition to the outside border of the layout, so I didn't need to add a mat. I was able to get some big brads on this layout, along with more word fetty stickers and some acrylic stars. I also added more of the word fetty stickers here just to add some interest. The photos and cards were added in two alternating columns, and then the title fills in the space at the bottom. This was another fast and easy page to create. No process video for this one. Here's another quick layout with four photos. These are from the Journey of Water at Epcot. This area opened last fall, I believe, and I took these photos as we wandered around this new space for the first time. We've only been able to go there one time before our annual passes expired. We loved it though and can't wait to go back. We will get our annual passes back again at some point. I used one of my own papers that I sell in my Etsy shop. I thought the colors complemented the photos and it brings in fun florals and feels like the watery garden that you find in Journey of Water. I used one foam sticker from the Simple Stories Pack Your Bags collection. That particular sticker summed up this experience. I created a simple droplet shape in my Silhouette software and cut these water drops in several sizes, inked them up, and that is the main embellishment on this page. This one was super easy because I just pushed all four photos in the center, cut a mat with white cardstock, and there's still plenty of the pattern paper showing in the background. Here's another new layout. There's no process video for this one. This is a photo we took in front of our house on the day we moved in. That was back in March of 22. This is an older Simple Stories collection called Hearth and Home. The color palette was a bit unusual with that bright yellow. It took me a bit to find a photo that would work, but this one does. This kind of clustered layout is one of my favorite styles to create. I just stacked up blocks of paper in the background, distressed the edges, and centered everything on the page. The black and white die cuts are from a Jen Hadfield collection, if I recall. I just pulled them out of my embellishment storage. I thought they mimicked the leaves from this pattern paper from the background. I also used 3x4 cards from the cut apart sheet. I didn't buy the ephemera pack, so I let the images on the 3x4 cards be the main clusters. I distressed them with the Tim Holtz tonic tool and used one of the cards as my title because it was perfect for our photo. And then I embellished the cards a bit with some doodlebug puffy hearts, some paper flowers, and some butterflies. Or maybe they're moths, I'm not sure which, from the nature study wing elements from 49 and Market. I also pulled this Prima flower from my stash. The color was perfect. These flowers are very bulky and dimensional. I pulled off two layers so it would lay a little flatter on my page and added a brad as a flower center. And then I added some hand stitching to create a frame in the background. Sunshine and blue skies. There's no process video for this layout. I used a newer Simple Stories collection. I think this is Linen Market. I pulled three papers from the 6x8 paper pad, inked the edges, and layered them on top of the yellow basics paper from the same collection on the solid side. The colors in my photos are very muted, so I wasn't worried about color matching here. I just picked out papers that I thought worked well together. More childhood photos here. They probably look black and white on camera, but the color is just faded. My brother and I are seated in this wheelbarrow, and my cousin was pushing us around my aunt's backyard. I don't have a story for these photos. They just reminded me of all the time I spent in my aunt's backyard when I was a kid. I probably will add some hand journaling when I put this away in the album. This is another quick layout with layered papers in the background, and I used the simple page pieces, which gave me the title, the long layered piece under the left photo, and two of the butterfly die cuts. I also have a couple of ephemera packs, so the flowers at the top and the layered butterfly piece over the left photo were just added in the background. I've been loving the layered ephemera like this because all the hard work is done for you. You just have to add it to your page. And then I added a few stars, some enamel dots from Doodlebug, and some splatters with spray stain in Picket Fence from Tim Holtz. 3 years and counting. I do have a process video for this one. My husband and I just celebrated our third wedding anniversary. I used some older Hip Kit products that I had in my stash from one of their sales. I had a paper kit and some embellishment grab bags. I felt bad that I had all these fun things and I hadn't been playing with them. I saw the pockets and I knew I wanted them to be the main embellishment feature on the page. I think HipKit does this with a lot of their kits. I've only ever purchased their kits during their sales, but I was excited to see these. Sometimes I think it's worth using multiples and repeating them as a statement element rather than just using them one at a time. I think there were 6 to a package, and I was able to get 4 on my layout. So I'll have 2 more for another layout in the future. I thought the pockets would be perfect for holding my journaling and the card I kept from the flowers my husband sent me. I had to switch that up after I completed the layout. I had the card on top and the journaling on the bottom, but once I added the word celebrate, the card from the flowers would have covered up the words. I used 3 sheets of pattern paper and then added a strip of stripes from a paper I found in my scrap drawer. I did ink around the edges of the papers with hickory smoke oxide ink. Other than a few die cuts that I pulled from my stash, everything here is from HipKit and Pink Fresh. Here's the only two-page layout today. I don't create two-pagers that much. I know I've shared that here before. When I do create them, this is the kind of foundation I like to have, which is to push everything to the inside edge of both pages. I use three ring binders, so there's always that gap between the pages. That doesn't bother me, but I do still try to create the layout so that it's obvious the two pages belong together. Here's another quick and simple design. No process video for this one. All I did was cut the 2.5-inch blocks from these papers. I pulled these papers out of my Kidstarter bin. So the papers were already together, they coordinated, and I didn't even need to go into my paper stash to find anything else. Having that Kidstarter bin is a big time saver. I inked the edges of the papers and just alternated the blocks of paper in the background. I didn't even mat the photos. I didn't feel like they needed it and looked fine against the patterns. These papers came from a paper pad from Joann's, so I don't have coordinating embellishments. I went into my color drawers and pulled out tags in coordinating colors, and that's what I used as cluster bases. I found an old set of dimensional stickers from Me and My Big Ideas that worked perfectly with these colors. I also found some blue paper flowers in my blue color drawer and some grosgrain ribbon that I used to cover up the center seams. For the finishing touches, I added a few clear gems because the flower centers already had clear gems. Here's a layout I've been wanting to create for a long time. There's no process video for this one. I've had this idea ever since I broke down this family night paper collection from Echo Park. We play a lot of board games, and I thought the cards from one of the cut apart sheets would be a fun element to add. They represent the kind of board games we played when we were kids. And that's in huge contrast to the kind of board games we play now. I have pictures of Outer Rim, which is a Star Wars game, Arkham Horror, which is a cooperative game, and Abduction, which is a competitive game. In the journaling, I talk about how much games have changed: cooperative games, living card games, deck building games. We love the variety. This is another quick page. I matted the three photos on one big block, added a little journaling, and used some stickers from the sticker sheet to make a little border collage. Not a lot of embellishment because I wanted the focus to be on the photos. This layout didn't need die cuts, a title, florals, or anything else. I just used the cards from the cut apart sheet. I didn't even think this needed any finishing touches. I just added some sticker letters to each photo with the name of the game. Oga's Cantina. There's no process video for this layout either. I used the Simple Stories Say Cheese Galaxy collection for this one. We took these photos at Hollywood Studios here in Florida. I guess this was my birthday weekend back in January of 23. We finally, after many attempts, got to ride Rise of the Resistance. And the line for Smuggler's Run was short that day, so we got to ride both. And we were there at the right time because there was no wait at Oga's Cantina, so we got to go in and relax in there for a bit. And the bartender was happy to take our photo and happy to include himself in one of the photos too. I used the fun galaxy paper in the background. Many times when I cluster photos in the center like this, I try to give myself a frame, either with cardstock or inking edges. So for this, I added a white frame. I stacked a few scraps behind the photos. I have another layout coming up with more photos from this trip. So in this layout, I created with the scraps that were left over from the other layout I created. I did have the sticker sheet, so all of these stickers came from the collection, and I added some puffy stickers, some holographic gems, and I also got some stickles on here. I added some dots of stickles to the pattern paper background to give it a little sparkle. And that is my layout share from the past couple of months. I'm not a hugely prolific scrapper. I tend to create about a layout a week, and I feel like I've been pretty productive. I hope that some of these layouts inspire you with an idea or two, especially the quick designs. I know I have to remind myself sometimes that not every layout has to have all the things. We can give ourselves permission to scrapbook quick layouts with stickers and cut aparts and scraps. I will be back soon with another installment in my holiday album. I will see you then.